Tonight, a UT student crying foul after he says property management ignored a mold issue inside his apartment. He says the problem went on for months. He hopes his story puts a spotlight on holding owners accountable. KVU's Kelsey Sanchez walks us through this ordeal.
At first glance, it looks like your typical college apartment. But as you look closer, you see remnants of what Simon Yamowich describes as a nightmare situation.
These are the new cabinets that they put in. They put the cabinets in first and then they put this flooring in. This flooring was actually not the first done. It was redone twice.
New cabinets, new flooring, and new plumbing installed in this unit at the Salado Apartments in West Campus because of this.
Get a bucket or something. Yeah.
Yamowich says this was just the beginning. When he and his roommates moved in last August, he says they immediately noticed a musty odor, stuffy air, and black marks around the carpet.
We alerted the building. They didn't do anything about it. We eventually got our own mold testing, and it showed that there was traces of black mold and mold in the air vents. The apartment manager finally got an actual mold testing system to find that there was black mold and other traces of mold all throughout the apartment.
Then property managers All County Capital told KVUE it was a routine mediation project and, quote, a utility closet at this building tested positive for extremely minor levels of black mold, end quote. Yamowich noted he and his roommates were told they could still live there during the project, which All County Capital confirmed. But according to the UT student, mold experts they brought in told them otherwise.
One of the workers came in and said, this whole place will be filled with mold. You cannot live in here. It's a safety hazard.
Forcing them into Airbnbs. All County Capital officials say they regret the impact the project had on the residents, but noted ambient mold is common in Austin and, quote, from time to time will find its way into a residential unit, end quote.
They claimed that this was an act of God, that they had no idea that they couldn't control this, but it's crazy to me to say that they couldn't control this.
While the situation is somewhat fixed now, Yamowich only hopes this ordeal puts accountability for those they give their money to.
And they just clearly ignored it and were thinking that, oh, we're just college kids, we're just going to put up with it.
The Salado here is under new management. The new supervisor told me that they're still waiting to get the keys from the previous owners, but they're aware of the issues left behind. Although they're not familiar with this specific situation, they say whatever the cost, whatever the problem, they will address it firsthand. At West Campus, I'm Kelsey Sanchez, KVUE News.
Kelsey, thanks. Now, under the Texas Property Code, a landlord is required to make a diligent effort to repair or remedy a condition if it affects the physical health or safety of a tenant. On its website, the Texas AG's office says local justices of the peace have the authority to order a landlord to repair health and safety issues as long as the repair doesn't cost more than $10,000.
13 Investigates is uncovering a larger mold problem at Indiana University.
Eyewitness News first reported that there were 2 residence halls there that had mold. Now as many as 5 halls are being inspected.
Yes, so far IU has 324 reports of suspected mold. Most of these cases are in McNutt and Foster Hall. 62 of them have been confirmed by an independent lab. IU has already cleaned 224 rooms.
Our Emily Longnecker spent the day on the Bloomington campus today talking to some moms who are trying to solve this issue for their children who are in the dorms.
A couple weeks ago, we both got really sick.
But freshman roommates Brittany Padden and Kellen Ambrose just thought they'd come down with something until the girls next door got sick too and found mold in their room at Foster Quad.
I was sick for over 4 weeks, of congestion, and then finally developed into a really bad cough.
We were like, oh, we should get it checked, and we ended up having mold. So.
The friends aren't alone.
She got sick, within a week, she was sick.
Lynn Johnson's daughter, also a freshman, developed breathing problems right after moving into McNutt.
It's upsetting to know that she's there and you can't do anything.
That's when Johnson found this Facebook page with dozens of IU parents complaining about the same thing, sick kids. Here are pictures of suspected mold in students' rooms. Those parents posted.
So I call my daughter and I'm like, I want you to search your room.
When she did, this is what she found on her air unit. The university came in and inspected.
These people that are inspecting her room are wearing hazmat masks. My daughter's living there, sleeping there.
For most students, we've been able to do the cleanup within a matter of hours.
A university spokesperson says they've been getting reports of mold mostly in McNutt and Foster since early September and have already cleaned up more than 200 rooms. Starting Monday, they'll be cleaning the heating and air units in both dorms.
This is something that is not just a surface level. They'll clean it thoroughly.
These students say it's already happening.
They are doing a lot to help it, but yeah, it is kind of an inconvenience.
And more than just getting rid of the mold, the university is trying to figure out why it's even growing in the first place so that they can address that issue and prevent it from coming back. Certainly a concern for parents who are worried that students would just be facing this same problem down the road. At IU, Emily Longnecker, Channel 13, Eyewitness News.
We want to let parents know that IU has set up a hotline for anyone to ask questions or report any of these mold-related problems. The phone number is 812-855-4848, and we've posted that number online as well.
These are brand new pictures emailed to KMBC 9 News. Students saying they're seeing mold and mildew in residence halls here at Pitt State like Nation Hall. Since our original investigation aired, we've had at least 7 separate people come forward with complaints, emailing pictures saying it is happening to them. Some of them say this has been happening for years. Some say they've gotten sick. So we went straight to the Vice President for Student Life again today, asking for answers on what the administration is doing to keep students safe.
If students aren't safe, they can't learn, right?
Yeah, true. And they can't focus on their studies if they're worried about other things. You know, as I talk to parents, you know, we want to take that worry away from them. And, you know, students have varying levels of capacity and resiliency and problem solving. And we appreciate parents' involvement. We appreciate the calls from them.
Dr. Irwin also saying they'll start going systematically room by room to check for mold and mildew and take action from there. In Pittsburgh, Kansas, Matt Fleener, KMBC 9 News.
Progress there as a result of our reporting. If you have had any issues, we are still looking into complaints. You can email us at news@kmbc.com with your tip.
New to Mary Mertz from the university. We don't know how many students are affected. There are a number of buildings connected to this complex. Also, when did university leaders first find out about the mold?
Just weeks into the spring semester, JSU students who live in University Point apartments grabbing boxes to pack up and move out because of an imminent danger. A spokesman said Friday a routine inspection resulted in a positive mold test in some units. The university is investigating and will take appropriate measures. Campus leaders say out of an abundance of caution, all University Point residents are being reassigned for the remainder of the semester. But JSU didn't say where those students would be housed. According to an email from one student, women will be temporarily moved to on-campus residence hall, and the men will be staying at the Hilton Hotel on County Line Road for the next 2 weeks. That's where we found junior criminal justice major Nathan Archie, who has lots of questions.
If it's been dangerous for us to live in, why y'all just not doing something about it?
According to Archie, hotel managers told him they knew Thursday JSU students would be moving in. Archie says he didn't find out until he checked his email Friday morning.
Are you a little bit concerned about the difference there between when you were notified?
Yeah, you know, that's really what a lot of people just been saying, when did they know that we were supposed to be out? Because they said it was they did an inspection of the buildings, but we ain't seen them do an inspection, so it was when did y'all do it?
JSU administrators not responding to questions about when they first found out about the mold. And mold is nothing to play with. According to the CDC, mold can have many health effects, everything from a stuffy nose, sore throat, coughing or wheezing, burning eyes, or skin rash. In addition to health concerns, Archie says being forced to move away from campus is a huge inconvenience.
A lot of them just upset because they're going from a situation where you got your own stuff, your own room, own bathroom, stuff like that. Now you got to share. But, I mean, you just got to deal with it.
Now, according to the email that we got from a student, university leaders say the reassignment won't affect the housing contract or the fees that students pay, so they won't have to worry about paying extra for housing for the remainder of the semester. Now, coming up tonight at 6, we'll tell you what one student says he was told about where they will be spending the next 3 months for the remainder of the year. For now, we're live. JSU, Ross Adams, 16 WAPT News.
Mold has been discovered in some dorms at a local university, and some students are concerned. The mold has been found in 4 locations at Bucknell University. About a week ago, several students at the college say they started getting sick and thought it might be linked to the mold found in their dorm rooms. A sophomore at Bucknell who wants to remain anonymous says that she heard some rumors around campus about possible mold and decided to check out her dorm. And that's where they found some mold in her closet and on some clothing. Later that day, the university had the area cleaned and treated, and that student also had what they believed was a sinus infection.
A lot of my friends were sick, but then we also found the mold, so we weren't sure if it was kind of connected to just like a white mold poisoning going on, or if it was our sinus infections, or what was happening there. But as soon as it got cleaned up, I did end up getting better.
Bucknell University issued a statement, and it reads in part, mold has been identified in Vetter Hall, Hunt Hall, and Schwartz Hall, and 1 apartment on West Campus. The university has had the air tested by third-party certified industrial hygienists, and several areas have indicated elevated mold counts, but the mold is of the common non-toxic variety. There's no evidence of toxic black mold. Now, many students are still living in the buildings where that mold was found. Bucknell University says it is working to resolve this problem as soon as possible.